And we're live. Hey, Trent. How's it going, man? We're live. It is Table Talk episode 1. I am super duper excited about this. Everybody at this table at least knows that we had Coffee Talk, 157 straight episodes, which is a lot. And it was time to kill it and start over. So here we are, Table Talk episode 1. And I've got, for my guest today, very first episode, I've got 3 of the single most important people in my life besides my kids. I said that earlier, and Lacey over here, as she normally does, made sure that I was more accurate with that. And it was great. So I'm going to start with you, actually. So I've got Miss Taylor Ellisal, who is officially the very first member of the J. Harmon home team. How long have you been working with me?
Are we going on 10 years?
I think
now?
we're right there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's 9, I think.
Yeah, I think we're at 9, and
10.
next year will be 10 years. So that's pretty wild. I tell people all the time is if you go to decide to hire an assistant, have some idea of what you want them to do. Because I told Taylor when I first hired her, I said, the only thing that I really need you to do is read my mind and then do it. Yeah. Like I actually said that to her.
No joke.
And she looked at me like this. It was
How
awesome.
long did you know him before that?
Oh, I've known you for a long time.
Several years.
Yeah.
I think she did a good job of it.
She did. I will tell you, the first 2 years, a little rocky.
Hey,
But she learned what goes on up in this skull sometimes.
He would hand me a piece of paper with stuff just written all over it and be like, "Hey, will you like organize this?" And I'm like,
That's a true story. That happened.
I mean, the running joke on the team was don't ever go to a conference or a seminar or anything like that, because then Jonathan comes back with like 50 things for Taylor to implement. Not for anybody else to implement, only for Taylor.
Yeah.
But don't worry, Taylor, it's not a lot. Yeah.
And then there's like one thing for everybody else, but Taylor's got 50.
Yeah. She hates when we go to any kind of learning experience. Yeah.
Right.
In a normal situation, you should take back 1 or 2 things that you're going to implement. I know Jonathan does not have to.
You should.
He takes back all of them.
Should is
like,
the operative word there.
Right
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then the second member of the J. Harmon home team, and the one that said, let's do it like a real team. And we were actually reminiscing just a minute ago off camera about the trip to Asheville. And Mr. Brett Garner, lifelong friend, minus 20 years.
Right. We had to take a break from each other.
We're on a break. Also known as Visor Man, by the way.
Yeah.
But Brett joined us. We're working on 5 almost, right? We're at 4 years.
Yeah. It'll be 5 starting January 17th.
Yeah. Wow. Time flies, man.
It does.
And
feels
Brett,
like I just left Ferguson yesterday.
Yeah, I bet. So, the 3 of us really formed the team. And then we've since grown. We've got 9 members now officially. Mr. Trent Denson being number 9 over there. I told someone today, we had just a little too much hair on the team, so we needed another. Needed a little more skin in the game, so to speak.
I made a few jokes today while we were doing video shoots.
We might have laughed a little. Apparently, I like Brian Nail. Which
maybe a little too much.
Yeah. Watch our videos over the next month. You'll see one that might refer to that. I don't know if she got the outtake or not, but
I'm sure we got it.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Trust.
That's fantastic. I can't wait. And then right here at my right is the beautiful, wonderful Alicia Fortner, who Taylor said, so did he tell you like what we're doing, why we're here? And Lacey's response is, I have a ring on my finger. And I'm like, so arguably the most important person in my life is Miss Fortner over here. And she has become my business consultant. She has become my Jonathan, that stupid person.
I'm so glad
there's another sane voice in the crowd.
The sanest. Let's put it that way.
Because I could be your drunk monkey sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes? Are you kidding? Brett's usually like, oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll have Taylor do that. So anyway, we've got lots of brain power at this table, lots of talent, and also happens to be, like I said, the most important people in my life besides my kids and maybe my parents. Maybe it just depends on the day, you know. If y'all are watching, I love you, mean it. So let's take just a minute and let's talk about why we do this, like why we're doing this. And there's lots and lots of reasons for that. Of course, this is on the Spread the Positive Network, Trent Denton's brainchild and maybe love child too. I'm not sure, all of the above. And you know, our goal as a team, and my goal as a human being, and I think all of y'all's as well, is to just be a force for good, right? There's a lot of bad news. There's a lot of bad stuff happening, even in real estate, and Lisi's in staffing, and good gracious. I mean, we'll get there, but good gracious, right? And so we want to be a force for good, and we want to get out there and as the network says, spread the positive. We want to do that. We want to help people see some good stuff going on. So over the next however long Table Talk lasts, 157 episodes, maybe 158, I don't know. We're going to bring folks in here, and we're going to talk about issues, and we're going to talk about what's going right, and try to put things in perspective so that people can feel good about where things are. It's real easy to feel bad about things. So what's y'all's thoughts on that? Anybody want to throw something out there?
Well, I mean, Coffee Talk to me was it was a great way to meet amazing people in our community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, local influencers, people that just do good. And this gives you an opportunity to have people talk about an issue. I mean, it's not like we're going to solve the world's problems today, but it's just bringing some awareness to it and putting a positive spin or a better spin on how we can approach it.
Well, and you know, our tagline is there's always a seat at the table. And the thing is, and I think one of the things that we lose is the ability to converse and to disagree and to still hug each other at the end and walk away and go get a beer, go get a Coke, go get a cup of coffee, whatever, and still be friends, but yet very much disagree on whatever it is, right? Lisi and I on occasion disagree about some things. We do. And at the end of the day, though, we still love each other. I'm speaking for myself, at least here. And there have definitely been times where Taylor and I have disagreed. Yeah. Oh, she just remembered one specific. Which one was it? There was something. Yeah.
Probably within the last day or so.
Most likely. And when we lose our ability to talk it out, when we lose our ability to pause and to attempt to see the other side, or maybe multiple other sides, right? There's very little that's two-sided. Then I think we lose our humanity. And I don't think it sounds like an overstatement, but I don't think that it is. And between social media, which we happen to be broadcasting on, and various other things that are going on, we don't talk anymore. You know, we don't sit down at a table and just talk.
I think you can get in your bubble and not really understand what's going on around you and the people around you.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And Lisi and I watched the Social Dilemma. If you guys haven't ever watched that before, dude, it's the scariest movie I think I've ever watched. Yeah. And because that bubble is programmed in a lot of ways. Yeah,
it's not even what you want it to be. It's whatever they decide they want it to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And the amount of people that will say, well, I've done my research on something.
What research? Like whose research?
I read 3 articles on Facebook and 20 of my friends agreed with me. Yeah. You know, we need to be able to talk.
Great place to get information.
That's right. So that's what this is about sitting down and talking. I hope to get, and if you're interested in being on, you don't have to be a business owner. You don't have to be, you know, someone quote unquote important in our community. Everybody's important in our community, and everybody has a story, and everybody has something that they can bring to the table. That's why we named it Table Talk. So without further ado, let's jump in. You guys excited? I'm excited. By the way, I know she loves me because she's on this with me, just so you guys know.
100%.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to start. Our first topic is, and I sent them an email for prep yesterday that says, it is a terrible email, by the way. The craziness that is our market, our housing market. And everybody at this table has some experience in that very recently. And of course, some of us, it's what we do. So I'm going to just open it up. The activity that's going on, the offers, the crazy offer stuff, the bad players that we maybe have encountered, don't name names, and then also some opportunities that are out there. So we got 8 minutes. Ready? Go.
I would never name a name.
I might, but I'm going to try not to.
Well, I can tell you I'm very opinionated, right? And I have offer information about all kinds of stuff, and especially real estate when it's been recent for me to do so. And being with Jonathan, then I feel like I can be a consultant to people because I hear him talk all the time. And I realized very recently that I know nothing about the real estate market.
But here's the thing. Let's be honest. There's everything that I have known for a long time. Just chuck it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the common sense.
Well, you never know at this point in time what's gonna get you that next contract.
Yeah,
signed, sealed, delivered.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you are, there is still a chance it's not going to happen.
There's a real good chance.
There's so much, so many moving parts right now, and the emotions run really high. All of the setbacks and the we didn't get this one, and we're on our 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
I think
house.
You had somebody with 9.
9, yes, we did. I mean, year and a half of looking.
Yeah.
And that's it gives you a lot of heartburn.
Well, it's hard because you want to make an emotional connection with the place you're going to call home, and it's almost like you're afraid to do that.
I feel like a
because
lot of
you
people
probably
feel like
aren't going to get
settling.
it this time or the next. Yeah, I mean, you almost are, and then you don't even feel like you're getting a good deal. You feel like you're settling, and you're having to like pay somebody to settle for it. Like never in your life would you do that for anything else, but right now, for the biggest purchase you're going to make, you're having to do that, and it's just sad.
Well, but look at September's numbers. You'll see those if you check out our social media links. 27% equity gain in Rutherford County.
September to September
of 2020 to September of 2021.
27%, y'all.
If you don't think you got a good deal, then I would like to know what your version of a good deal is.
Last year, right?
Last year, right.
And there's no sign that it's going to really taper off. So I mean, think about it. Let's say that it does taper off a third, right? Okay,
sure,
18%. That's still pretty darn good.
Yeah,
So but the concept of a deal is very different now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
A win.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're competing against 15, 16, 20 other people, just simply being the chosen one.
I mean, even in areas where traditionally it's been pretty safe, like new construction, all I got to do is step into a sales office, they'll sell me a house. But that's not even the case. There are even new construction people that are doing it like every other listing, and it's almost like everything's an auction.
Yeah.
That's how
everything feels like an auction.
Everything feels like an auction.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I think Taylor, I think was hitting on something that's super important for real estate agents to remember, for lenders to remember, even for appraisers and transaction coordinator. I mean, everybody, is that it is very easy for you and me to cook this down to a business transaction. Right.
Sure.
It's very easy to look at the numbers, to say this is a business transaction, but it is the most just simply in the mindset that goes with it. It's the most complex business transaction out there, not because they're overly difficult deals as far as structure goes, but because of the emotion that people tie to the concept of home.
Sure.
That's a big deal.
It's not just a structure. It's a feeling. It's an emotional escape place.
Yeah.
So
it's security. It is their kids' futures. It's the dog running in the backyard. It's, how
are we going to put up our Christmas tree here?
Yes.
How are we, where are we going to fit grandma's cabinet? And just
one of the things that Lacey talks about all the time is where your kids are going to come home from college.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. I mean, my parents lived in their house for 44 years. They're getting ready to sell it. I mean, it has been so hard for them.
And probably
couldn't-
for you a little.
A little bit, but I've been where I am for so long. It's hard for me to imagine living anywhere other than my house.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been there more time now than anywhere else I've ever lived.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird too, just so you know.
And well, I mean, I know that's unusual, especially in our industry, for an agent to stay in a property. I mean, most agents I know are selling every 3, 4, 5 years, moving on, moving up, whatever. But I've never wanted to be anywhere else than right there.
Well, and I'll tell you, this was awesome. So a couple years ago, for all kinds of reasons, I decided to contemplate moving. Right, I loved my house. I lived in Smyrna, had a cool mid-century house. I thought, did you see that look? She was like, yeah, it wasn't that cool. But I thought it was cool. And so I made an offer on a house on Main Street in Murfreesboro. And I will never forget, we're sitting there and I'm like, and she like said, offer a little less. I'm like, but I really want the house. She was like, offer less. I was like, okay. So
Frugal McDougal.
and they countered, and the counter was lower than I anticipated. And then I countered back. You remember? You were like, counter them back. And I was like, okay. I was nervous.
Like, what if they walk away?
For,
I'm like, you have a house. It's okay.
Yeah. For like 12 hours. I'm sitting there. I didn't sleep. I was sweating. It was awful.
I would like to hear that conversation take place in today's market.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would have strangled me.
So, but anyway, we got the house, and, I sold the place and all that, but it was healthy to go through that for me, because I had lost some of that perspective. I think you do a good job of keeping that perspective, and I just didn't. I'd lost it. So I think it was healthy. I think it's healthy for agents to experience that feeling.
I think it is too. I'll never forget when we closed on my house that you sold to us. You were like, "Aren't you excited?" And I'm like, "Did you just see that check that I wrote?"
Yeah, right.
Maybe tomorrow I'll be excited.
Yeah. Oh,
right now I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Yeah. 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 Her buyer's remorse came after closing. So, all right. So let's, we got about a minute left in this little section. Let's talk about some opportunities that are out there. So you hit on it a little bit ago about the 27% last September. If you had bought, I think there's still opportunities for people to get a deal right now.
Sure.
Because it's going to continue to appreciate. We talk all the time about whether or not the bubble is going to burst. Your thoughts on that?
I don't see a bubble for us to burst, but plateauing, yes.
Yeah.
And when that happens, kind of like what you and I discussed, it's going to feel like we went backwards because we're going to hit the brakes so hard. It's going to feel like a collapse.
You know what it's going to feel like? You guys ever been in the airport and you're on the moving sidewalk and you walk down the moving sidewalk and then you get to the end of
yeah, that's exactly what that's like.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to feel like. So, all right, final thoughts on the housing market right now. Just so you know, in the future, we'll have some different experts within the area, whether it's lender, title. We've got a building supplier. We've got a couple of folks already lined up for that. So we'll always talk about something housing related. So pretty excited about that. Next, we are going to talk about the, again, terrible email, current state of labor and employment, minimum wage standards versus the reality of wages, and why is everyone hiring right now? So we do have an expert in the employment industry and in labor and that kind of thing. Lacey?
I don't know that I would say expert, but I've definitely done this for a while.
A long while.
A long while.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting market. We, 5 years ago kept saying it was an employees market and it's going to turn, and we kept waiting, and every year it just got more and more and more to an employees market. And right now, if you want a job, you can have a job, and you can have a job making a good bit more than you really thought that you could even a year ago. So it's been interesting. We have some So I have 4 offices in the greater Nashville area that I'm responsible for, and we have more open positions than we have people working.
Wow.
So
So
Well-
it's very much like housing.
Yeah, I mean, I read an article. I think it was Tennessee Department of Labor's report for August. They said that there were 463,000. Don't quote me. I'm trying to remember a couple of weeks ago. 463,000 open positions in the state of Tennessee, and we only had like 286,000 available workers.
So if you think about it, the employers right now are the house buyers,
That's
and
right.
the employees are the properties. They're the houses. They're the labor.
Yep. And it makes for very interesting regarding wages and what we've seen with that over the last couple of years. They slowly increased, and then they have just gone wild very much, I think, to what house prices are.
Yeah. You were telling me that y'all's average in 2019 was like $14 an hour or something.
When we went into 2020, so pre-pandemic, we were right at $14 an hour was our average wage. Now, my group specializes in manufacturing and logistics placements. So,
A lot of entry level.
Yeah, a lot of entry level warehouse, machine operation stuff.
Mhm.
So average, we were at 14. Today, I looked, we're 1670 is our average.
In
That's
2
a
years.
great increase.
A year and a half. Yeah, a year.
Not even 2 years. Yeah.
Not even 2 years.
That's wild. I have a past client that's he operates a fast food restaurant. He's in the north, in Pennsylvania, but he was telling me that he starts at a fast food restaurant. Just your frontline cashier workers are starting at $16 an hour.
Well, Parker, as a 17-year-old, got a $15 an hour job.
Yeah. Do you know what minimum wage is?
7.25, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when we hear there's been forever, there's been a lot of chatter, and it seems like it kind of comes in waves about increasing the minimum wage, right? Haven't we basically done that as a marketplace?
Yeah. I mean, in my world, we went from seeing, 6-7 years ago, $9 an hour that quickly went to 10. 2 years ago, that went to 12. And I'll tell you now, if I have a customer that comes and says, I need you to fill a position, and they're offering to pay less than 14, we say, unfortunately, we'll let you down. We won't be able to fill that position.
And we can't help you.
So in my opinion, our real minimum wage in the market is about 13.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy. That's the market working, right? And it's interesting. Jonas and I, my son, 15, we talk all the time. He loves economics. Like he just, for whatever reason, he just works that way. And so he was like, Dad, I don't understand the idea of a minimum wage, just in general. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? I didn't know where he was going with that. And he was like, there's not a job out there that pays $7.25 an hour. And I said, okay. He goes, so why do they even need a law for that? I'm like,
Let me tell you a story about some people that lived from about 1890 to about 1919.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, so here would be my question to you guys. And let's start with Lacey on this one. Are there solutions? So we have lots and lots of friends that own small businesses, and the idea of paying, a frontline worker $16 an hour. I mean, it's just not, it may not even be possible, which means that small business owner carries the entire labor burden on themselves. And, it's their choice. Sure, they can open a business or not, or I get all that. But if they are looking for someone, and let's say that they really can only afford $11 an hour, right? What are some things that might help them fill their position other than adding dollars to the per hour? Is there anything?
I don't know if there's anything at $11 an hour unless you get a high school student that's willing to work for that, honestly. But when you look at things to do, there's definitely things to do that as an employer to get people to work. It's amazing all the little stuff along the way that we've learned. Like, you want to really interview somebody and find out what their real needs and wants are. All of those things are enhanced now. So distance from home. Can you work from home? If you can have somebody work from home, I mean, you're going to fill the position much easier. But a lot of people can't, right? So we've got
It's hard to do warehouse work.
Right.
From
can't do
home.
warehouse work from home.
Right.
And so, we have seen it easier to fill positions where you're willing to offer some flex hours. You pick your schedule,
yeah.
and we will, work around that. Part-time work, anything like that. There's so many people that do social media and are bloggers, and they want to
Have an Etsy shop.
have the time to do that and make an income. And so we found that that's a tremendous benefit. And then as well as like understanding and learning how to manage generationally, right? So, boomers, millennials, everybody wants something different. And I'll tell you, it's very, very different managing those different personalities and how they grew up and what their needs are. And if you can master that and understand, flex PTO and unlimited PTO, and there's so many things that companies are offering, then that helps as well.
Are you seeing benefits for part-timers? Like, is that a thing yet? Insurance and things like that?
It's interesting that insurance isn't really that big of a deal to people.
Really?
It's very interesting. We're not seeing it as big of a deal as it used to be. I mean, there are still people that, need benefits, but it's just not the what are their benefits. It's more how much time do I get off?
Okay.
Which is a benefit, but
Sure.
not like your health and dental, what you think of benefits.
Well, I had the conversation with a small business owner. It's maybe been a month. And labor was our topic of conversation. And my recommendation was change your hours. I mean, do you remember when on Sundays, Walmart wasn't open?
Yep.
Nothing was open.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one gas station in town was open.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So there's a lot of businesses out there that expanded their operating hours to accommodate our instant gratification society.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a huge pullback on that.
So with this labor shortage, at least in the interim, scale back. I mean, I think that's a viable option if small business owners, or anybody for that matter, are feeling that pressure.
Well, and I think if you're going to do it, this is the time to do it. Like, people are more okay with it now.
People will be accepting now of that explanation rather than 2 years ago, you wouldn't have gotten away with that. People
Absolutely
would have been
not.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You're only open for 8 hours a day?
Mhm.
That's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And we've seen a shit. I mean, I see signs on door. It says, we're open from 9-ish to 5-ish. Like, it's not 7
Right.
hours.
Wow.
It makes me crazy, but I mean, that's the way that the world is now. So, yeah.
In
it's
supply
interesting.
chain and logistics, like what you're dealing with too, with the national supply chain issues, the backlogs, the log jams, that is, of goods. I mean, I know guys in warehousing that, some days they're busy, and then other days they're sinking. They can't keep their head above water. And then other days they're standing around like,
Yeah, because
what are we doing today?
They're waiting on the ships
Parts
to
issues.
dock. Yeah.
Instead of it being a steady stream of work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor, what are some things that if you were out looking for a job, which you better not be, that you might be that would entice you into a place that maybe didn't pay as much as some other places?
Don't let him scare you.
Well,
I mean, I'll take notes if it'll help.
I mean, just because I have kids and stuff like that, I mean, schedule matters to me, like what the hours are. And then,
Mhm.
But I need you all the time, whenever.
Oh, we just had a moment, y'all.
And I'd want to say benefits, but I don't know now. Like you're saying, that's not a big thing, and it's like, I mean, I haven't had benefits for ever, so it's like I've learned to like not live with that. You know what I mean? So I really schedule. I think would be my
Pandora's box.
Yeah,
you just opened it.
Yeah, yeah. So first, we need to have a schedule.
Trent, can we go back in time like 2 minutes?
Can you rewind that? Oh, that's good stuff. All right. So the last that was great, y'all. Thank you for that. So that'll be another little portion, not necessarily about labor, but we'll pick some kind of topic that is, that's relevant to the day or to the week or whatever. So that was good. So here's the next question. And again, lousy email. So we got just a couple minutes here. One of the things that came out of Coffee Talk is people were like, it's awesome you have small business owners in there, but you never actually talk about what you guys do. So I don't want to do like this lousy, like lame, shameless plug kind of thing. But I would like to hear your take, Brett, and then yours, Taylor. So you got 2 minutes. All right. So think quick. Okay. And each of you guys will get a couple minutes. Oh, you can do it. What about our team? What about the J. Harmon home team? Would you tell somebody that would allow them, like they would feel good about us being their trusted professionals, whether that's through referral or for themselves? Ready? 2 minutes. Go.
Sure. I mean, when I do meet with people, I'm not a hard salesman. I just want them to know who we are, what we do, what we stand for. A lot of our values from Rotary. It's kind of like applying the 4-way test to whatever situation I'm in. And I feel like we do that as a team when it comes to looking out for people. We're not just out to make a sale. If that was the case, I would not have drug around, some clients for a year or more. I would have just got them into anything.
Well, I'm just going to say, by every metric, you lost money on that deal.
I mean, I could have gotten them into a house before we did, but I wanted them to be in a house that they weren't going to be a slave to it. And I feel like that about everybody that we work with. I mean, folks, right now, I'll drive 3.5 hours and film a 25-minute video because they're looking for their forever home.
Right.
So I feel like we do that with everybody, and everybody on the team does it in their perspective, whatever their specialty is.
I think we do a good job of not losing track of what we do.
Well, when I started, you talked about the industry as a whole. Agents measure themselves by their gross commission, not by the number of people they've helped. And that's always been our focus since the beginning, was how many families or individuals do we service throughout the year and get them where they needed to be?
Right.
Whether it was a death in the family, selling an estate, finding your first home, baby number 2 was born, we need a bigger house. And that's just what we do.
Done. Good job, Brett. So the other feedback is that Coffee Talk always went too long. So I'm trying to control that a little bit. Taylor, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, to piggyback off that, I think that we do a good job of everyone on our team meshes. Like, we don't just hire anybody to like join with us. Like, I think everybody is really vetted out to make sure that that we are in it for the right reason, that it's not just somebody who's coming in and they're going to take over the team because they're going to make more money and sell bigger houses and I don't think we have anybody like that on the team. I think everybody is genuinely there because they want to help, and everyone treats everyone, whether they're buying I would say $150,000 house, but they're like ours.
I was like, yeah, good luck with that.
So, but a starter.
Show me where that is.
Exactly,
I'll take care of that one.
So
You've got the time machine, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
A starter home, whatever that is now, $300,000, or if someone's, buying $1 million house, I think that everyone gets treated the same. And that's important because everybody's got emotion in it. And I feel like all of our agents do really well of connecting that with everybody. And I think that reflects, the interactions that I have with everybody, everyone seems really appreciative of what all our agents do. And so I think everybody just does
it's just a giant love fest.
I'm just so proud of you guys.
There are plenty of ugly moments. Trust me.
Oh, they happen. Yes. Lacey, do you have something to throw in on that?
I think the diversity of knowledge that you guys have as a combined group. So it's really neat to see you all together, who specializes in what, who has knowledge about different markets and different things in the market. And so, I'd recommend based on that overall. It's really neat.
We've been very purposeful about that. And, I teach it at Middle Tennessee Association. And one of the things I tell these brand new agents, and I always tell them, I'm like, I know you're not going to listen to me, but pick an area and specialize.
Well, right? It's kind of like our relationship. When we were in high school, we were parakeets to some degree. We mimicked each other. that 20-year break, when we came back together, we still had a lot of the same common values, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Sure. Traits, values.
But we have had such vastly different experiences, and
Mhm.
we have
Bring so much
vastly
to the
different
table.
opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everybody on the team's kind of in that same boat as far
Mhm.
as they've had a different
Mhm.
experience in life,
Mhm.
and they're bringing that to the team.
And we're purposely adding. And I think that's what you're getting at is I'm purposely seeking out. We're finding people and saying, even if we don't necessarily have an opening, right? We need this person because they
Bring this to
Well,
the
it's like
table.
Rachel and her live outside your mortgage.
love that.
It's great. It
I think
fits any
you're-
budget.
You're willing to change with the market too. So many people get stuck in this is how I've always done it. And I can tell you there was a conversation that happened, I don't know, last night or the night before. And I was like, that is exactly the opposite of what he told me when I was selling my house. And
That
you
was
know,
like
you cha-
5 years ago.
But, you
Okay.
change, but,
Yeah.
but you're willing to change your perspective,
Yeah.
where I think a lot of people that have been in
That was a
industry for
conversation
long
with your
time-
husband, by the way.
That's one of his big pet peeves too, is when a vendor or somebody says, well, I've been doing this for 27
Oh.
years.
Yeah.
oh.
That's one that crawls all over Jonathan.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to get under my skin. Probably.
And
So can
off your good
Can I
list.
start
No.
what you said?
Oh, I thought you were going to say, can I start
that?
saying I've been doing this for, I was like, no, you can't. But
No.
yes, go ahead.
So he's like, what does it matter what it appraises for? And I'm like, what?
Yeah. We can't worry about that on the front end now.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
we can predict it and we can set an
Try.
expectation that it's possible that it won't appraise. But the reality is, man, we don't know.
Mm-mm.
We have no idea what it'll appraise for in this market. It's
No.
crazy.
Not at all.
So, all right. Well, that's good stuff. Thank you guys for all of that. I think the last thing that I want to talk about, and we hit on this at the beginning, is I do want to do a little plug for Spread the Positive, and Trent and all the things that he's doing. You may not know much about Trent. You may not know much about Spread the Positive yet, but I can promise you that you will. It is a movement. It is a network. It's a networking. It's a way to join other people that are just plain tired of negative. They're just plain tired of it. And gosh, there's so much good stuff that happens and people don't realize it. I looked at the numbers, Trent. Do you remember, I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, how many nonprofits are there in Murfreesboro? The last time I looked, it was like 180 some odd nonprofits or something.
I think it's more than that.
It might be now, but this was the ones that are based here in the city of Murfreesboro. Not that have a presence here, but are based here. And gosh, they're just doing incredible stuff. And you know, I have some favorites that I've gotten to know the guys and girls that are leading those groups, but just a lot of stuff. And so, you know, Trent wants to tell their stories. Trent wants to tell the stories that triumph, the defeat stories that can still lift you up and stuff. So Spread the Positive is looking for underwriters. They're looking for supporters. They're looking for stories. If you are somebody that has something that fits in those three things I just said, let us know. We'd love to do that. So thanks, Trent, for all that you do and for producing Table Talk. By the way, your head looks good today, man. So they told me I was weird this morning. So I just figured I'd just continue to be weird. Yeah.
It works for you.
It does.
What's new?
It does. Taylor's like, what's weird about you being weird this morning? And it's always
It's
that case.
always weird.
Yeah.
I got one last comment.
Yep.
And then I'll stop talking. I know. Strange event. Mine and Sandra's 15th anniversary. She has put up with me for 15 years. God love her.
There it is. I knew it was coming.
October 13th, which is tomorrow.
Oh,
Congratulations.
So thank you. Yep. I feel extremely fortunate to have my wife and kids.
Well, I would be remiss to say she's pretty dang lucky too, Brett.
Maybe. She has to put up with a lot, though.
Yeah.
So she deserves to be pampered.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. So he's a pretty darn good guy. But thank you guys. these two were like, I don't really want to do that. So I appreciate y'all very much. And
you won't ever get them back on camera.
Nope, it's a one-shot deal. Lucy's,
I love you.
Lucy's already telling me. She's
He's like, I only have one ring. Okay.
That was terrible. Thanks a lot, Taylor. But anyway, thanks for watching.
Hey.
If you have some suggestions for guests, send them my way. If you want to be a guest, let me know.
There's 2 in a pair of earrings. So next time, earrings.
Y'all are not helping me. All right. Y'all have a good rest of the week. We'll talk to you again real soon.